It's all about what the company wants for the company's needs. The job that I thought that I would have till possibly old age, retire from, may not be that much longer. And the sad thing is yours might not either. And most of the time, no one tells you until it's too late. Now, I got the news that most people dread. My company is going to be moving out of state. But I'm not really panicking. But it did get me thinking. It's like, what are my options here? And we'll go over those options throughout the video. Now, society tells us, go to school, go to college, get a job, a career, stay with that company forever, retire. That company will take care of you. And people think that, loyalty equals safety. Not necessarily true. Most people treat their career as a guarantee. It rarely is anymore. And I think 2020 should have been a big eye-opener for many people. At any time, your employer can make decisions about the company, about you, that has absolutely nothing to do with your performance. It's all about what the company wants for the company's needs. That is the priority. The survival of the company, not the survival of the employee. Now, in my case, my coworkers and I are in this situation. We're the lucky ones. We got notified well in advance. We have a year and a half, maybe 2 years at the time of this video, to figure out what we want to do. If we want to stay with the company, go with separate ways, what have you. Every employee does have the option to stay, and I'm sure my company would love me to stay, because me staying versus putting out well over $100,000 in a new employee and thousands of hours of training and working and everything else, it'd definitely be a lot easier just to keep me. But the downside for me in this scenario is my commute will go from about 40 minutes to an hour and a half. That may not be ideal, but in this situation, nothing really is ideal. As I see it, I do have 3 options. 1, have that hour and a half commute. I should say hour and a half there, probably 2 hours back, because they have to go through town and traffic and everything. In the morning, it's not bad, but in the afternoon, it could get really frustrating. The second option is find another job. The third option, see if I can go homestead full time. At this point in time, I have a lot of time to consider my options. So I'm not ready to declare exactly what I want to do yet. In this scenario, it is, pretty much the best case. We got plenty of time. Some people get, a month notice, some a week, some a day, some a few hours. They could get an email saying at the end of the day, the company's closing its doors, clean out your desk. Could be that quickly. And then you have nothing to fall back on. And a good amount of you will, you won't have the option to continue with the company. Maybe they're closing down the only place in the state. Maybe they're going bankrupt. The entire company's gone. You're pretty much just blindsided. No severance pay, no nothing. Just gone, done. And that part is just the norm. The shorter time span, the instant, the less than a week. It's not the exception. It's what happens most of the time. Take, for instance, something that happened here recently. A company called Del Monte, I'm sure you're familiar with them, they declared bankruptcy. All of a sudden, thousands of workers just out of a job, done. Farmers, no place for their product, done. No relocation option, no heads up. It's like that's it. It's like, we're not buying your product, you're not working for us anymore. Closing down several warehouses, several manufacturing facilities, just gone instantly. And it's not something that's rare. Companies fold, downsize, restructure all the time. You hear about it all the time. So what can you do? Well, first, you shouldn't wait for a wake-up call to start preparing. Take this video. This isn't necessarily a wake-up call. Your job could be secure for the next few years, but it's still a good idea just to prepare. One thing you should do is build your skill set. Don't keep so narrow that, all you can do is your current job and that's it. If you lose it, you're done. Broaden it a little bit. If you do nothing but spreadsheets, do spreadsheets, databases, expand a little bit more. Get a little bit more broad in what you do. Even if you ask your current job for a little bit more workload. It's not about getting paid for what you do. It's about preparing for, something that could very well be inevitable. Take me. Years ago, when I was working at a dealership, I started out as a detailer. Up until this point right here, for right now, I can pick up a buffer and start polishing paint again. I probably wouldn't take much to actually get back into the groove, get the products, get that going. That could be even a good side hustle if I wanted to. From there, I went to be a line tech, a mechanic. I can turn wrenches. Even before that, I was working on my own cars. So my skill set is pretty much anything, turning wrenches, rebuilding engines. I can do small engine repair, anything like that. And, that actually attributed to getting this current position that I have, even though I do have an electronics degree. And I have some experience in electrical work. When I applied for this position, they were looking for somebody to turn wrenches, to build mechanical machines. So that's what I did, and it got me the position. So if you can, try to broaden your skill set. Always keep your resume current. You start a job, instantly just go into your resume, put your job title, where you work at, the date you start, of course, any advancements, any extra skills that you learned, put that in your resume. Always keep that up to date. Another thing you should do, have an emergency fund. Emergency fund's actually something that I struggled with getting up until the past few years, but you should at least get a 3-month emergency fund, preferably 6 months. I mean, there's a good chance you can get some kind of job within 3 months, but just in case, 6 months is ideal. Best case scenario, a large enough emergency fund, you never have to work again, but that's not going to happen. That's retirement, winning a lottery. So we'll go 3 to 6 months. Best case scenario, 6 months, you're almost guaranteed to get a job within that time. Go ahead and explore your side incomes. Maybe a passion project, something that earn you some money or get a different skill set, something that you more connect to than your current job. Like I was saying, for me, I could easily pick up a buffer and start detailing cars again. YouTube is kind of a side hustle, passion project. I'm not making any money off of it, but it's something to, express myself and, help others get their off-grid land and start homesteading. Also have the actual homestead itself. I'm really interested in dairy sheep. I'd love to get some and start milking, see what I can put together as far as income goes. Just think of something that you actually, are passionate about. Then you have, the sayings like, what would you do if all your needs were taken care of and you wouldn't get paid for it? It's like, what would you do for free? And that's what you should do for your passion project. Of course, keep a network going. LinkedIn, Facebook, email people, go to social gatherings, even gatherings within your own field of expertise. Get names, have lunches, keep in contact, just in case. You never know. If you lose your job, you may see somebody post on their business website or something like that, or their LinkedIn page, hey, we're hiring for this position. It's like, hey, that's close enough to mine. I'll go for that. And there's a book that I really recommend reading. It's called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. And it's all about networking and, you know, keeping in contact with, people that, you can help and they can help you, before you actually need that help. I can probably put that book down in the description through Amazon, audiobook, digital copy, whatever. Highly recommend it. Also, know your worth in the job market. Look around, talk to other people that have, right around your basic skill set, same number of years for experience, just kind of keep that in mind. So if something does happen, you may realize that you weren't getting paid near as much as you should. So if something happens, you have a number to throw out to the next person. You always should keep the bigger picture in mind. It's not a very good idea to be very narrow-minded, have tunnel vision, just your own little job, your own little career, your own little world. Because once that world collapses, what are you going to do? And like I said, for me, the bigger picture is, what do I want in life? Like, what's like the whole purpose? What would I do for free if all my needs were taken care of? If anybody out there that knows me, even coworkers, it's like, I'd love to do this. I'd love to do homesteading content, helping others get off grid. And honestly, I am doing this. It's like, I'm not getting paid for this. I don't have enough followers and watch time and all the requirements that you need to get paid for this. And I'm still doing it. I've been doing it since 2017. Now I'm close, but I'm not getting paid. As far as the day job goes, whether or not I follow them, get another job, or, become a full-time homesteader, it's actually letting me refocus and figure out exactly, what I want, the path I want to take, and, what the end product is going to be. If you're comfortable right now in your career, right where you're at, it may be a good time to start thinking about this. Because, like I said, if 2020 has taught us anything, is that our jobs are not secure. And the worst thing you can do in your own job is become complacent and then just assume it's going to be there forever. You know the saying, the bird that lands on the tree branch is not afraid of the branch breaking, because his faith is not in that branch. It's in its own wings. Faux shizzle.